At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right, good morning, Arkansas Razorback fans. I know if you're like me, you probably didn't sleep the greatest last night, or you went to bed really late because you were watching Duke highlights and kind of going over some stuff. If you're like me, you were doing all that. Let's do this, Arkansas. They're elite again. Woo pig. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? SEC fans everywhere, welcome. I am, if you missed it last night, I shaved my mustache on the live stream. I think we had close to 400 people in that live show last night. I think that's where we were at, somewhere close to that. Maybe 350. I don't know, doesn't matter. We had a lot of people, so I'm assuming most of you probably saw it, but yeah, someone said, it's a good look. So someone gave me a compliment, which I thought was which was kind. I personally think I look like a fat Abe Lincoln, but whatever. I'm just missing the tall hat, So do me a favor, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Check out all the links below the down what used to be known as the description box. Now I think it just says show more. So go look at all the links provided for you there. Of course, a special shout out to Patreon supporters. I still just cannot believe where we're at with Patreon supporters. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, you guys are just rock stars. We got some OGs on that list. We got some new folks. Just absolutely awesome. Didn't have time because we've had kind of a busy morning this morning. I didn't have time to get any footage of Eric Musselman talking to the media, but I loved what he said last night immediately after beating the Zags. Verbatim here. This isn't word for word. It's not verbatim. He said that, you guys counted us out. Thank you to all of you who counted us out, to everyone who said we had no chance of making it as far as they did, going to the Elite Eight. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I listened to the Zags, their post game, talking to the media. It was definitely. I mean, we've been there. Hogs have been there. Razorback fans have been there, and it's got to be just a gut wrenching feeling for these guys to be a number 1 seed. Talked about as the best, and they were the best highest scoring team in college basketball throughout most of the season. Phenomenal offensive team all year long. Phenomenal. I mean, you cannot take that away from them. If you watch them play at all, you know what they're capable of. You talk about spurt ability for the Hogs, the Zags were like a consistent offensive juggernaut this season. Listen, there's a debate to be had about West Coast basketball and teams out west and who are they really playing and, can they hold a candle to everything to the east of them? And look, I mean, the Zags, that's the conversation being had right now, right? Or teams, with their kind of schedule, right? I say out west. I mean, really, how far are they? But I think that there's something to be said about what Arkansas did last night. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Again, I am, as you could tell, I'm really tired. I did not go to bed till after about 1:30. I don't think I fell asleep. I couldn't sleep. It was very similar to the Sweet 16, making it to the Sweet 16. It was very similar to that night. I was tired, but I couldn't sleep. I'm very fatigued today. Not going to lie. I'm up front with you guys. I'm honest. I'm going to call it like it is. I feel like we burned quite a bit of energy here last night. Without a doubt, that postgame show, not a shocker, but was fun. Was so energetic. I was tired. I mean, it was one of those. Did we go the full hour? I don't think that we did. But it was one of those after the show where I was like, okay, I'm gonna hop in the shower and I'm going to bed. I didn't do that. I think I had so much leftover energy from that. I just sat up watching Duke and trying to go over what I could, because I haven't watched a lot of them this year. I'll be honest. I don't think I watched them play maybe outside of a few minutes earlier this season. Like, I did not watch them play. Watched a little bit of Texas Tech. I thought for a little bit we're going to be playing the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Zags fans are salty dogs this morning. Yeah. Ty needs a hat to complete the Amish look. Yeah, I is it Amish? I guess so. I think it's Fat Abe Lincoln, but whatever. PTN is the bomb. Hit up Discord, folks. Yeah, it's a lot of fun there. I'm actually able to make a live show on time. Welcome, Big Hump 73, man. I appreciate you being here. I've seen people say we played them like Baylor did last year and just brought it to them, which I kind of agree with. Very physical. I think this was the most physical matchup, the best defensive team that they've seen. Again, I had the Zags winning this thing. I really did. But Arkansas's physicality did not surprise me. We've seen this time and time again, right? We've seen it all year. The physicality that they're able to play with, their size, their length, again, their athleticism. Rinse, repeat, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Last night, you had, so the Zags fall. We know Michigan's down, so Villanova advances. Duke advances over Texas Tech, and how about Arizona? And they lost by double digits, man. 72-60 is what I have typed out. I was copying and pasting a bunch of stuff over from ESPN, so I think that's accurate. 72-60. Duke over Texas Tech in what was a pretty physical game. Texas Tech is a good defensive basketball team. And Villanova over Michigan. I mean, if your Elite Eight is still intact, and I don't think is I don't know the numbers on that. I haven't. Again, I'm not really concerned about brackets at this point. But if you have this set up the way that it is, you're. I want to read off your. I want to cheat. I want to cheat next year with you. I want you share with me your bracket. I mean, really, it's ridiculous. Does anybody have this Elite Eight matchup in the country? We still got some games left, right? Purdue and St. Peter's. I think this is correct on the time. 6:09 on CBS. Kansas and Providence. That could be an interesting game. But I've got Kansas. UCLA, North Carolina. I'm not doubting North Carolina anymore. I'm taking North Carolina. And then Miami and Iowa State. Miami has kind of been, I don't know who's a bigger shock to national media right now, whether it's Miami or Arkansas. I would say probably Arkansas. Because no one had, including yours truly here, nobody had them advancing past the Zags, right? Quick shout out to the show sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. What makes us one of the top rated local for garage door repair? How about same day services, emergency service 24/7, 365 days a year, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes, hundreds of 5-star reviews, better than best results. Our team is here and ready to serve every day as your trusted residential garage door repair team. Call us today, 501-244-3667. Again, that's 501-244-3667. That's the Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. Shout out to Mr. Ford and his boys. You probably see him driving around town here in Springdale. We have our prediction thread up. It's already, what are we at? We're already at 10 picks this morning already. That's off to a good start. We started this at 9:43 this morning. I did mess up. So that thread I copy and pasted, it was the original text was supposed to say, guess the correct, just the winner, not the score. Because I wanted to hand out some XP. You're playing for this is the Sweet 16. I wanted to celebrate the moment. I wanted to hand out a bunch of XP. I didn't note that correctly, but I lived up to it. I gave everybody who picked the winner 30,000. We had one 60,000 winner, and I think it was Farrell Hogman, I think, who is now in the we have a new tier. We got rid of the Diamond tier, which is the highest rated tier on our Discord. We've changed it to the Baja Blast tier because we all know that Baja Blast, you can tell I'm fatigued. It's going to come out. There's going to be a lot of gaps. I'm going to mess up a whole bunch of names today. So I know that that triggers some folks. But listen, doing my best, okay? A little fatigued. I so want to go to bed after this. Can't do that. Still got to pick up a dog. We had to drop the dog off to the vet this morning. She's getting fixed. Got to go pick her up later. But, yeah, it's been kind of a busy morning. But we have the new tier, man. The top-rated tier is the Baja Blast tier, and it looks like the color matches Baja Blast. I love it. I love it. But get your predictions in. Looks like everybody has picked Arkansas so far. Dragons got Arkansas. Mr. Dragon Slayer. Will Lennox. Timmy Tumbler, who's brand new to our Discord. He's got the Hogs. 78-74. Mike. He's got Arkansas blasting Duke here, 70-58. If you hold Duke under 60 points, listen, man, don't rule it out. Arkansas's defense, I'm not saying it's happening. I don't see that happening. I'll give you my prediction, all right? It may not be what you expect. I'm just going to tell you right now. I realized what happened in the Sweet 16, but stick around. I'll give you my prediction. I realize I was wrong on that, but now we got to keep it real. That's what I do here. I keep it real. Austin has Arkansas winning 69-50. Another sub-60 pick here. Haas has Arkansas beating up. Well, no, I don't know who. You didn't pick your winner, Haas. You just said 77-63. Note with 32 points. Damn, son. You need to go back. If you're in chat, you need to go back and pick your winner. D Campbell 25 has Arkansas winning by a small margin. Pretty good score, 75-73. Let's see. Eileen Moore. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Eileen has Arkansas. Cricks, my neighbor Alex. Shout out to Alex. He's got Arkansas winning. Ramon Scheisse's got the Hogs winning. And Kelly Marie just logged in hers. We got a couple people coming in. Kelly Marie just logged hers. Arkansas over Duke 74-7. That's a pretty good score, Kelly. That's a good score. That's grounded. It's not a complete blowout. Send Coach K into retirement, she says. Yeah, I like that. I like that saying. Do we do it? Did you guys watch them in the second half against Texas Tech? Did you watch the final minutes, I should say, in that game? Dude, he's a legend for a reason. You can hate on Duke all you want. That guy is a legend, right? Throw Tony on bank. That's our answer. Says Darren. Yeah. You're, I think so. I think you're probably right. Anthony White. If I pick against the Hogs, they win. So I may have to keep the mojo going. Yeah. They've got some playmakers, and there isn't a doubt that Arkansas is going to have their hands full again. Is this the best team that Arkansas's played against? Period. Is it the best team? Listen, they made it to the Elite Eight, right? So you got to give them their due. That's a tough question. Like, I feel like the Zags are better. I feel like the Zags are better than Duke. I just do. I think they're better. You know, this was a major upset in the tournament. Now, for anyone who's followed the Zags' history, this is what they're known for doing. This is what they're known. They're known for either choking. You know, they've been a runner-up twice in the Final Four, I think, in the last 5 years. Number of Elite Eight, Sweet 16 appearances, they come up short, right? It's kind of like that Barnes effect, and that's just. But listen, you have to give them some respect. What is it? 7 straight Sweet 16 appearances. That's like I think it's the second all time. Like, dude, say what you want about them not winning the national title. That's fine. I don't think it's hard to get to the NCAA tournament. I would say it's challenging. I'd say it's challenging, also depending on what conference you're in. But you have to consider that. He made the tournament. Okay. You got past the first round. All right, it was Georgia State, whatever. They got past the second round. They got past the third round, right? They've done enough to get to where they are. This was a damn good win for the Hogs. I think this is the best team that they've played all year. And the craziest part about it was that Arkansas on offense was, I mean, yet again, to nobody's surprise, far less than stellar. Far less than stellar, right? Wasn't great offensively. They had some shots rim out. They struggled around the iron a little bit on offense. They had some balls that looked like they were going to sink, not sink. Like I said, a couple of rim outs. You couldn't finish quite like you would like to around the rim. Again, you got to give the Zags credit. Defensively, they are great rim defenders. I think the Zags are your best opponent this year. Some would argue Auburn. I never bought into Auburn being the number one team in the country. I did think they would go further in the tournament. I did. I thought Tennessee would go further. I thought Kentucky would go further. Obviously, everyone thought Kentucky would go further, right? Devo Inote will lock him up. Can you imagine winning a championship and retiring Coach K in the same year? This is Thomas Joyce. Oh, my gosh. Just beating him alone and making it to the Final Four. You haven't been there in a minute, man. I mean, God, what grade was I in? 5th grade? I was a 11, 12-year-old little asshole running around like Jefferson Elementary in Fayetteville, and you're over here thinking like, yeah, this is just who we are. We're going to do this every year. We're going to be in the Final Four. We're going to be playing for it all, and then it kind of fell off. I think they had one more Sweet 16 appearance, and then that was all she wrote. You haven't been back since, well, until last year when you made the Elite Eight run. Be sweet to down 1 seed and be the last team to beat Coach K. Oh, send him off. Send him off. Are you saying that Duke is pretty much better than Auburn, Tennessee, and Kentucky? I think they're in that mix. I don't know how the hell Kentucky was eliminated so quickly. I don't know. I really think they overlooked I really think they overlooked that opponent. I really do. There's no other way to put it. It's either that or the rust. I don't know. I mean, Kentucky should have gone further. It's inexcusable that they were one and done. I think I would say Duke's in the mix. Alex, what do you think? You tell me, Alex. What do you think? Can you imagine winning? Oh, I already read that. Blah, 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 blah. Got to hope after an amazing high we can play like we did 2 days later. Some interesting numbers coming out of this game last night. I have it on the post game. I think I wrote it down in the post game. Yeah, so yesterday, and we talked about this a little bit, the Hogs went 12-plus minutes without a turnover. Zags are not a great turnover team. Wait till I tell you about some of Duke's stats here in that very category, right? Holmgren got into foul trouble. And what did I say in the Discord halftime show? Which, by the way, was full to capacity. You can only get to 25 if you have your camera on. My good pal and neighbor Alex, a.k.a. Cricks on our Discord, pointed out that, yeah, when you turn the camera on, it limits you to 25 people. We had people, I'm sure, wanted in. I saw some people rotating in and out a little bit. I said that in the halftime in Discord. Dude, in the first 2 minutes, get his third foul. I think they did that very thing. It was either the first, I want to say it was within the first 3.5 minutes or so. But regardless, you did it, and it forced him to play the game entirely different. I could see them doing that again with a potential lottery pick tomorrow night. I could absolutely see that being the case. Arkansas is so good at isolating great players. So great at isolating these types of players. The stars of their teams, right? All right. I want you to give me your score. Go ahead. Do it. Do it now. Go now. Give me a score. I need your score. Duke and Arkansas to advance to the Final Four. More banners coming, baby. More banners coming. You've got your Sweet 16. You got your Elite 8. Can they get to the Final Four? So I want your score. Tell me who your MVP is. That's what I want to know. Any word on Muss extension? Anthony, we're not going to be there for a minute, my man. I don't think we're going to hear anything about that until whatever they decide to do. I'm sure Hunter will be asked about it. I'd be surprised. I mean, it just depends on how long they last, right? If they get past the Elite 8. I think you'll probably hear something by probably. So I bet we'll see. April maybe. I bet we hear something. I gotta go Arkansas 76, Duke 72. Big three from Amude to steal it. Oh, to seal it. Sorry. Jake Robertson 71-69 Hogs. J. Will MVP. Jeremiah Granite 76-72 Hogs. Boy, I think these are pretty good scores here. 70-68 could go either way. Reb doesn't want to give us his actual winner, though. Okay, I see you. Tony Brown, 77-69. Usually who I predict. Oh, so you're picking Duke. All right. Okay. You don't want to jinx. I get it. Or the reverse jinx. 73-66 Arkansas. Tony MVP. This is Darian Cunningham. Duke just got done playing a physical defense. Texas Tech had one of the best defenses. Yeah, they did. Texas Tech is very good. You're right. You're correct, Ash. They are a very good physical defensive team. Arkansas, I think, is better. I think Arkansas is better. I don't give a damn about stats. I don't even care about KenPom. I know KenPom likes Arkansas's defense. I don't care. I think Arkansas's defense, based on the tournament play that we've seen so far, is the best in this tournament. Their offense, that's the downside. Probably one of the worst. Bottom two at least in the tournament. And that's what's crazy. And this is the crazy stat that I have written out here. Where are you at? Got to scroll through all the numbers here. Arkansas on offense shot 36% through the first 3 games. One of the worst ever. Getting to the Elite 8, one of the worst shooting percentages ever in the tournament's history. That tells you how good Arkansas's defense is. It's kind of insane. kind of insane. It's absolutely nuts what Arkansas has been able to do on the defensive side of the ball. Love the way Trey Wade played. Trey Wade was the unsung hero last night. Doesn't typically blow up the stat sheet, but was very impressed with him last night. Didn't he have the steal in the first half? Turned around and got some points out of it. Wasn't that him that did that? For whatever reason, I haven't. I'm pretty sure those resulted in points. He got a steal, and it was him that got the steal, and he got the points. Jay Will with another double-double, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, didn't turn the ball over once. JD Notae, this is why you struggle with him running at the one spot. 5 turnovers, right? 5 turnovers, not the greatest. Stayed out of foul trouble, just 2 fouls. We know that Jalen got into some foul trouble kind of later on in the game. He ended up, I think he picked up 3 of his 4 in the second half, if I remember. Yeah, because he didn't have 2 in the first half. Wade had 15 points, though. He doesn't normally do what he did last night. He's the unsung hero because everyone talks about JD Notae, everyone talks about Jalen Williams, but Wade was undoubtedly 7 rebounds. He had a block and 15 points. Arkansas with 6 blocks. That's the most so far in postseason play, if I saw that correctly this morning. Timmy, for Gonzaga, did exactly what we all thought he would do. It was Holmgren who they kind of kept in check, although he had 14 rebounds, 11 points. Strother came through for them a little bit. He had 12 points. Nimbard, and this is the thing that should stand out. Like, this is the thing that we missed last night. Nimbard had, keep in mind, he's their one, right? 5 turnovers. 5 for 5, right? Arkansas, JD Notae and Nimbard. Their bench production, not the greatest outside Watson getting like 8 rebounds. He had a block with 1 point. He only had 17 minutes. I was a little surprised by that. With Holmgren in foul trouble, I thought he would have like 20, 22, something like that, but he ended up with 17. Hickman with 13 minutes off the bench. Of course, Devo, 25 minutes, 6 points, 2 assists. Listen, 3 rebounds, only 1 turnover. Chris Likes, some people a little surprised he didn't get more minutes, just 4 minutes. Kamani came off the bench, 4 minutes, got 2 quick fouls, didn't play much more. I think Kamani might have a bigger role against Duke, so we'll get into that just a little bit. Do me a favor, guys. Don't forget to like. We're over 100-plus people in here. Make sure you like the stream. Share the content. Razorback fan, hello, all. What's up, man? How you doing? Welcome. If you guys are not in our Discord, you need to be in there. I forgot what my goals were for Discord, but I think we're doing pretty well. We should be at 500 people. I want to say, I think we'll get there before fall. I think we'll get there sometime in the summer. I really do. I think it's gonna slow down basketball when it does finally end. I know baseball's still hanging around. Timber Johnson, well, I'm late. Just got in from work. Proud of our boys. Great time to be a Hawk fan. You are absolutely correct, my man. Muss's record at Arkansas, 73-27. .730. Look at that. Look at Mike with the stats. How about having 28 wins at this point? Austin Yandel says, if our guys who typically average single digits get double digits, then we'll have a great shot. Okay. Simply put, but yeah, you're probably right. Arkansas Hog, Little Rock Dog. I love that name. Apparently there was a wager between him and Anthony Black. I don't know what the stakes were, though. Between who? Ramon? Is our guy Ramon up to it again? I was in I went to their Twitter. Those Twitter spaces usually they're just, I don't know, man. Some of them are pretty, I like a little bit of camaraderie. I like the camaraderie, listening to guys crack jokes and also giving me some kind of substance. That's kind of what I try to do here. We crack jokes. We have fun. We bask in the light that is the greatness of Arkansas basketball, and then we get into the numbers a little bit. We get into some recruiting talk, right? The Twitter space has just become crazy, but Ramon was in one last night, and I listened to him. Was not aware he was an Auburn fan. I didn't know that. But this Ramon guy, who everyone says has never been wrong on his picks, says that Anthony Black will be a Hog, and he's going to be in town. We talked about that. He reached out to me on Twitter. He confirmed it. He shared his, I guess it was his plane ticket. Ramon and who? Ramon and Will? Will who? I didn't see that. I didn't know he had a... Oh, yeah. Will. Okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. My bad. Muss has 6 NCAA tournament wins since he's been here. I've said it before, and I will gladly say it again. This is where you should have picked up. This is exactly where Arkansas should have went after Nolan Richardson. This is exactly where they should have picked up, right? When Nolan left, he left this kingdom. I know things went south. His last two years, whatever it was, in the early 2000s, right? Should have picked up where they left off, and they just didn't. They went on this embarrassing 20-year just hiatus from being at the top, the upper echelon of college basketball, and Hogs are back, and it's fantastic. ESPN Twitter just put something out that said, did Gonzaga get hosed by the refs? I saw that. That has been the headline. I've listened to a few talking heads outside of SEC Network. A lot of the headlines are Zags lose, right? Duke wins. Arkansas's not even making the headlines. When they put out those re-ranking of the Sweet 16 teams, I don't think anybody had Arkansas in the top 10. And look, I'm not going to say I blame them. I mean, they had played awful basketball. Let's be real. Offensively, they're not pretty. The Hogs are not pretty on the offensive end of things on the floor. They're terrible. They're one of the worst offenses in college basketball. They're not good. At least, of the teams that were remaining in the Sweet 16. What they do is it's all about defense because defense travels. Now you're at that point where you've got to get some. You talk about spurt ability. They're gonna need a little. They're gonna need a lot of that against from here on out. Duke, it's for real, right? I know Coach K's team is young. Duke's team is young this year, but he knows how to get his guys ready, right? He's been to a few of these. He knows a thing or two. Shit just got real. Sweet 16, you're still in that. There might, there's going to be some upsets, whatever, but now you're getting into the Elite Eight where it's real now. Like, this is it, man. You're playing for your opportunity to go to New Orleans and to play in the Final Four. It would be so funny to beat Coach K yet again, considering we beat him in '94 for the championship. I will be in Memphis. I will be in Memphis though, watching the Grizzlies and the Bucks. Go Celtics. Go C's. I'm wearing it again, man. They're balling out. My C's are killing it. I love it. Oh, by the way, I started watching the Lakers, the HBO show about the Lakers dynasty. I hate the Lakers. Anyone that knows me, the 49ers and the Lakers, Kentucky basketball, I don't know, Tennessee and all things. But the Lakers I hate the Lakers. But I've got mad respect for them. Obviously, Kobe Bryant, I think, is one of the greatest players of all time. I mean, who doesn't think that, right? But it's really – the show's pretty cool. What's it called? The Lakers Dynasty or whatever. It's on HBO. Just look up Lakers. You'll pull it up. The HBO Max or whatever it is, the streaming service. It's pretty good. 3 episodes out. Episode 4 comes out on Sunday. If you're into the NBA, if you're into kind of the history and behind the scenes, that sort of stuff, this is right up your alley, man. I love talking about the business side of whether it's professional wrestling, NFL, NBA, whatever. I love the business side of it. It's just intriguing to me. This year's team proves Muss is the best coach in the NCAA. He took a offense-heavy team in 2021 to a defensive team in 2022 and still in the Elite Eight. Mr. Teed up with the $5 super chat. 60-64, Arkansas squeaks by. Arkansas plays harder for each other than Duke does for Coach K. Ooh. Showtime. You're right, Cody Phillips. It's Showtime. Interesting fact. Adam McKay, the guy that directed Anchorman 1 and 2, he's worked with Will Ferrell. He worked with Will Ferrell on SNL. He wrote for SNL. Those two have been a comedy juggernaut together. I think, didn't he do Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, him and John C. Reilly? Will Ferrell was supposed to play the role of the owner, and he picked he ended up going with John C. Is it Riley? Whatever his name is. You know, he's got the goofy voice. He plays his Wreck-It Ralph. He plays as Ralph. He does the voice, right? He's the other. He's the other part of the Shake and Bake on Talladega Nights. They're not on speaking terms, and that kind of bums me out because they've made some great movies. Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. I don't know how he is with John C. Reilly. I don't think Duke's defense looks that good. They have a big dude that can block shots, but nothing else on Duke's defense impresses me. Yeah, they're definitely known more as an offensive team. They're not as good as Zags when you compare the numbers on offense, but they're a really good team. You could argue ACC or Duke's played some better opponents. As a Celtics fan, you absolutely hate the Lakers. That's just how it is. I hate the Lakers. Chicago Cubs, I hate the Chicago Cubs with a passion. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Los Angeles, but I didn't see any lakes. P.S. I hate the Lakers. Rant over. I think that's actually a quote in the movie. Something about lakes. Why do they call themselves the Lakers? There's no lakes or whatever. All right. Again, if you guys haven't already, feel free to join the Discord. That link was in chat. If you don't see it, it's down below in the Show More tab. Arkansas and Duke. You guys gave me your scores. A lot of you think Arkansas, like this is just it, right? I think it's I think all these matchups are going to be interesting. You're going to hear that about 1,000 times. Everyone's going to call it an interesting matchup. Yeah, but it is. I mean, it is. It's another offensive-heavy team. Not that they're bad on defense. I don't think that at all. But they're not as well balanced as the Zags. But when you look at the stat sheet, you do have to consider the matchups. I realize their conference was not what we all thought it would be this year, right? I get that. But I still think they played a pretty solid. They had a pretty solid schedule. Duke did, and they've played for most of this tournament. They've had a pretty. I mean, they look pretty good, right? Looking at their $50 super chat. Holy crap, that's two $50 super chats. Said it here. We win tomorrow. 76-72 tomorrow. I love it, Timber. I love it. Look at you guys. Holy crap. We're gonna break a week record on super chats. Holy crap. We broke the super chat record last night. We're gonna break it for Friday's shows. Maybe ACC is better than we think. That's exactly right. 3 teams are in the Sweet 16. That's what I was gonna get to. I think the ACC is, like, you look at the top of their conference, not that bad, right? Not that bad at all. My Final Four's all wrecked, man. The only team I have left standing is Purdue. And Baylor and Kentucky, probably the two biggest surprises, although Baylor lost to North Carolina. Kentucky lost to a team that a lot of people just realized even existed. They lost to St. Peter's. St. Peter's still in it, man. They're going to go up against Purdue. But you look at Duke's path so far, right? Duke got over CSU Fullerton 78-61. Then they get over Michigan State, that is. Michigan State. Michigan State played Davidson and barely got by Davidson by a point. It's a pretty good ball game. I watched it, but thought Michigan State honestly looked pretty good. Did not think they would get by. I didn't think whoever won that game, I didn't think was going to beat Duke. So far, my Duke pick is accurate, but I had them playing Gonzaga. Obviously, I was wrong. Thank God. Never been happier. I shaved my upper lip. Okay, I get it. Should have stuck with them. Looking at the matchup, the Zags are pretty good, but Arkansas's defense is just that much better. But then they get by Texas Tech in what was a physical game. Arkansas didn't. I don't think the Zags were that physical. That's the thing. Like, that was, Musselman's going to be the X factor every game here out. Like, that's just because of the caliber of coach that he is. You're getting short rest. You got to deal with Duke, another good offensive team. You had a little bit of time to prepare for Gonzaga, who are offensive juggernauts. You don't have that same amount of time. That's what probably worries you a little bit. That and their potential lottery pick. Duke can go a little bit onto the bench. They're no Tennessee by any stretch of the imagination when you look at how far Tennessee can go into their bench, which is kind of typical of a Barnes coach team. That guy will go 10 deep every matchup, and I bet he averaged a 9 to 10 man rotation through the season. Duke's not going to do that, but they can if they absolutely have to. But they're probably going to like their 7-man rotation up against the Hogs. This is going to be the most physical game that they've played. But the question is, now you had all this time to prepare for the Zags, who are, again, an offensive juggernaut, but you gave Musselman that amount of time. He's got a much shorter amount of time to prepare for Duke. To me, that's the thing we need to pay attention to. Not the MVPs on the floor. I mean, yes, you got to pay attention to them, but to me, the biggest thing is who's more worn out, and I would argue probably Duke. They also got done later. Musselman was in attendance for their game. I don't know if you guys caught that picture or not. He was in attendance with his mom, which I thought was so sweet. You got to love it for him, man. I mean, with his dad no longer being with us and having his mom there, that had to be special for him, and that's so cool. I'm glad that he got to experience that. I'm so happy for these players. Folks keep doubted them all year long when they went down, 3 games during the conference schedule, and they found a way out of it, man. And not only did they find a way out of it, they started playing a level of defense. I've said it before, and I will say this again. I've never seen that kind of turnaround defensively, and it was because of that roster. It was because of the depth. It was because of what he had to work with. I had people coming into my chats when Arkansas lost 3 straight saying things like, Ty, where are you seeing this rotation? Like, what are you talking about? And here comes guys like, Tony sees a few fewer minutes, but then, Wade develops into the role that he had, right? We didn't see any Connor Vanover, but Jalen Williams started playing even better than where he was at in those first 12 or 13 games. The guy starts racking up double-doubles. You could point and look like Chris Likes needed his minutes reduced, and Devo needed to stay on the bench, and J.D. Note needed to keep doing what he was doing, but maybe, turn down the turnovers. He was able to do that this year. All those things that need to happen, and they were able to reach a little bit into the pockets, right? Kamani Johnson found his role in this on this team, even though it may only be for 4 or 5 minutes. He understands. He understands the assignment. He knows what his role is. He's going to come out and he's going to get you a hard 5-6 minutes. He's going to go out there and wear someone down. He might rack up some fouls, but that's kind of what he does. Chris Likes is going to come off the bench, and he's either going to deal with the full court press if it's a big enough problem. He's going to get a lot of minutes against the full court press, or he's going to be the guy you want taking shots at the end of the game at the free throw line. He's the guy. May not be the guy, you only want him to be the guy when he's coming to the free throw line at the end of a game. That I agree with. I don't know if I want the ball in his hands in the final 10 seconds of a basketball game to determine whether or not you're going to overtime or to win the game. But you like him at the free throw line, and he's bought into that role. All these guys have bought in. And it's because of the roster size. It's because he was able to dip and kind of play around and mess around, find the right chemistry, and he was able to do it. It's been the greatest turnaround I think I've ever seen. As a Razorback fan, as someone who's watched Arkansas basketball for years, I was old enough to remember their runs. I can remember going to Barnhill Arena. I can remember going when Bud Walton first opened. I can remember going to the trophy celebration with Nolan Richardson. I can remember sitting on Lee Mayberry. I've got that picture somewhere. I'm sitting on Lee Mayberry's lap, Nolan Richardson's lap. Like, I was there, man. Didn't understand it till I got older, and then when you get older, you're old enough to understand it and to appreciate what happened. Didn't know that we'd ever get back to that point in my entire life, but I always knew that they're capable because of Bud Walton, because of Fayetteville, because of Hog fans, because of the determination. As long as you have the right guy at the helm as an athletic director, as long as he's dedicated, and he is. Hunter Yurchek wanted basketball to turn around, and it's done exactly that and then some. I mean, there's a real argument to be made. Like, I still believe Nolan deserves a statue. But if Muss stays here long enough and can win the big one and continue, I'm not saying build a dynasty, but God, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? You can do that here. You absolutely can build a dynasty in Arkansas. You can do it in basketball. Football, I'm not there yet. The portals help things, right? The portal and the NIL stuff will help. But in basketball, I think it's absolutely a possibility you could build. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm not saying Muss is doing that. But imagine if he wins the big one and then look at what he's got next year. Well, my throat just dried up. Woo! Woo! Hold up now. You gotta drink some water. You ever had that where your throat just closes up? Oh my God. Woo! I got tears coming down my eyes now. Out of my eyes. Throat just went dry and closed right up. That was weird. I've been drinking the agua this morning. I guess not enough. Excuse me. Boy, the joys of doing this stuff live with the camera right on your face. But I'm not saying that a dynasty is what's happening. You got to win the big one, right? And then you got to follow that up. And Musselman is, if it were to ever happen at Arkansas, Musselman's the guy to do it. From what I can tell, from everything that I've seen so far this season, and everything we saw last season, and even his first season, despite the COVID shutting everything down, that was a team that was getting hot at the right time. Who knows what that team could have done? Of course, the season was canceled after their first SEC tournament win. But yeah, Arkansas is you can do that with basketball. I think you absolutely can. So Arkansas and Duke, what the hell do they got to do? So looking at some of these matchups, and again, some final notes on Gonzaga really quick. Arkansas held Gonzaga to their second worst field goal percentage shooting of the year, sixth most turnovers on the year, fourth most blocks on the year, and the Zags point guard had just 7 points with a whopping 5 turnovers, as we already mentioned. Arkansas continues to shoot poorly. All right, so how do you deal with Paulo Banchero? I think that's how you pronounce his name right. 6'10", 250 pounds, potential lottery pick. It's going to be a solid matchup, and I don't know. I think we feel like we know how Arkansas is going to handle him. I think it's probably going to be a couple of guys. Wouldn't shock me at all to see Kamani get in there and rack up a couple fouls, try and wear that guy down. J-Dub is going to be pivotal, like he is in every game. He's going to have to be pivotal in this matchup. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. Their scoring defense is ranked 117th in the country. They're allowing I think it's just north of 67 points a game. 9th in the country in block shots. This will be the third time Arkansas has played a team that's top 10 in that category. The Hogs are 2-0 against those teams. Not that that's a huge rank or huge stat, but it's still something to keep an eye on. Duke also ranks 185th in steals per game. They're sitting at about 6th. I think Arkansas is a little bit ahead of that, but not far. I want to say they're top 100, but I could be wrong. This is where things get interesting. Remember I talked about the turnovers a little bit ago? Duke's opponents this year are only turning the ball over just roughly 10 times per game. That ranks at the bottom of all Power 5 or Power 6, however you want to look at it, teams in the country. 310th in the country. I think this is a pretty telling stat. So far through this tournament, they've only CS Fullerton only turned the ball over a whopping 8 times. Michigan State, 7. Texas Tech, 8. Arkansas has gotten so much better in their turnover ratio, their assist-to-turnover ratio. We've seen it at times peak +3, +4, or +2, +3 in the assist-to-turnover ratio. You could absolutely do that tonight. These guys don't force a lot of turnovers. No one has turned the ball over more than 8 times. Again, Texas Tech and C.S. Fullerton turned it over just 8. Michigan State with 7. Duke in the tournament so far has out-rebounded 2 of their 3 opponents so far. They're an elite rebounding squad, ranking 6th in the country, but ranked behind the Hogs in offensive rebounds, just sitting at roughly, I think it was right at 10 per game, putting them at 120th in offensive rebounding in the country. Ranked 81st in the country in three-point attempts, so they're not jacking up a bunch of threes. They're capable, but that's not really been their MO this year. They're a high assist team. Didn't watch enough of them to know if they run a lot of sets. I'm sure they do. Coach K has kind of been known to do that before. I don't know. So that says to me maybe they do. Maybe they are running a lot of set plays if they have that assist amount. I think Arkansas's played at least one other team in the top 10 in that top 10 assist ratio. Top 10 offense, scoring offense, they're averaging just north of about 80 points a game. Zags, just to give you a comparison, averaged 88 points per game, so they're 8 points fewer than the Zags on offense. Arkansas, so far through this tournament, they held Vermont. Now, this is their worst. This is, you definitely got to be south of this, but they gave up 44% on the floor. That's what Vermont shot. They were 26 of 58 in that game. That's your worst. It shouldn't shock anybody. That's what Vermont does. We talked about that. I drilled it into your heads here. Their shot selection is, I think it's some of the best we've seen all year. They're not a high-flying offense. They don't get a ton of points, but their shot selection, their shooting percentage is pretty high, and they were at 44% against Arkansas. But then that percentage drops when Arkansas plays New Mexico State. Those guys go 18 of 53 overall at just 34% total shooting. Gonzaga, you hold to 37%. They go 24 of 64. You've played 2 pretty offensive-minded teams, in Vermont and the Zags. Vermont for different set of reasons because their shot selection. They're just better at it. Very good 5-out offense. Something you don't see a lot of. It got them to the tournament, but that was it. It got them a one and done. Hogs have out-rebounded 2 of their 3 opponents so far. I think the average is about plus 3.5 when they out-rebound their opponents in the tournament. That might have been a postseason total, not NCAA total that I was reading this morning. Keep in mind, again, I was running on like 6 hours of sleep this morning, maybe 5. But that might have something to do with my throat being so damn dry. Arkansas, defensively, I think they're the best in this tournament. Now, to be fair, I haven't watched every team play every game, right? But just doing a little bit of light reading. And the games that I have watched and the teams that they brag about, Texas Tech being so great on defense. Think about the time Texas Tech had to prepare for Duke, and Duke still found a way. Arkansas is given less time. Arkansas, we know, not a good offensive team. I feel like this is going to be a night where you want to shoot better than you have so far. That 36% is awful, or 35, whatever it is. That's not good. I don't know that gets you to the Final Four or not. I guess we're going to find out tomorrow night. So a lot of you are picking the Hogs. I think you're probably, we'll see. Hang on. Smoking them cigarettes again. No, not smoking cigarettes. I haven't smoked a cigar yet today. I got to run to my boys. If you've never been, and I'm going to do it, I don't care what YouTube says. Open Door Cigars right here in Fayetteville, right? Maybe you got a brother, a nephew, son, whatever, uncle, and they like smoking their cigars. There you go, Open Door Cigar. Tell them Ty Hudson sent you from the Pig Trail Network, or give them a call. They do. I didn't know that they can do this, but you can actually. They deliver cigars, or they mail cigars. I didn't know you could do that. They make me think of the Pistons 89-90. Not pretty, but effective. Oh, man, that's actually a really good comparison. The Bad Boys. That's a good comparison, man. Wright's Barbecue in Johnson, Arkansas. I think you're right. I think I'm going to Wright's Barbecue today. Maybe I'm going to do that when I'm done here. I'm starving. Dwight, what's up, man? How you doing? I wish we could fly out Scotty Thurman, Corliss Williamson, Alex Dillard, Corey Beck, and Daniel Robinson to the game to sit behind that bench. That would freak Coach K out. That would freak out Hog fans. Wouldn't that be awesome to see those guys? Yeah, that Pistons team was tough. Yeah, they were. Those Pistons teams. They took over when the Celtics started to when Larry Bird was at the end of his career. This is unreal. Muss is doing this in year 3. Dwight, I'm doing good, my man. My throat dried up. You guys got to hear me cough. I apologize for that. Yeah, here's what I like. All right, let me give you we're at that hour mark. Let's just go ahead and do it. Arkansas and Duke, Ty, who you got? Listen, I realized I was wrong about the Zags, okay? I really thought that Arkansas would be overwhelmed. They've got their 1 through 4, 1 through 5 guys. A couple guys are capable of coming off the bench, getting double-digit points. Like they may not run the 5-out offense on the offensive end of the floor, but there's no doubt they can run the post. They could do it all. That's what the Zags can do. Duke has their own set of playmakers, right? Their lottery pick, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Paul Banchero. Sounded to me like they were calling him Pancaro. I couldn't understand why they were pronouncing the B like a P. But Banchero, who's a lottery pick, had 22 points, 4 rebounds. He also had 3 steals. Right? They had 6 blocks in that game. Williams, they like to play with their forwards and centers on the roster. That's who 4 of their starting 5 guards are. Moore was a forward. He got 12 points. All 5 of their starters against this just tenacious Texas Tech Red Raider defense. All 5 of their starters had double digits, and they gobbled up all the minutes, a lot of the minutes. Every single starter had at least 30 minutes or more. Roach, Williams, Banchero, Griffin, Moore. They can run you up, man, and they're also pretty athletic. This is going to be, again, this is a tough matchup. I still think the Zags are better, but the difference here is that you had time to prepare for the offense that is the Zags. Is it possible that the ACC is actually better than we thought? What is it? Three of their teams are in the Sweet 16. There's only one SEC team representing in the Elite 8. Or 3 teams in the Elite 8, right? Is it 3? Possibly. Is that what we're looking at as a possibility? I haven't looked at all the other matchups yet. But they beat Texas Tech, man. They beat them by 5 points. They kind of, it was a little back and forth in the second half. It felt like maybe the Texas Tech Red Raiders were going to win it, and the Duke Blue Devils edged out a win. They shot 52% overall. They were 52%. 28 of 54 against Texas Tech. 7 of 19 outside. Remember, they don't take 25, 26 shots a game outside. They're roughly, I think they're about 20, maybe I'm wrong here. I think it's about 21 attempts. They were 7 of 19 outside, 37% almost. 88% at the free throw line. Texas Tech was 55%. Right there's your X factor, right? They went 5 of 9. They didn't get to the line a whole lot. Duke got up there, and they took 17 shots. They hit 15 of them. Just 2 points from their bench, John Jones and Keels. They're 4 and 5 heavy on the floor. They're 4 and 5 heavy. It's going to be a tough matchup for that reason. I think the Zags offensively were better. I think the Zags as a complete team were better, but this is a tough game. Don't have the amount of time that you had to prepare for the Zags. I got to go with Duke. I'm going with the Duke Blue Devils. That's what I'm doing. To lose the game. Duke is going to lose the game. They're not the Zags. They're good. They played, I think, a better schedule. I think the ACC maybe was a little underrated. It's going to be a tough game. Give me the Hogs, man. I'm done. I'm done betting against the Razorbacks. Musselman is a defensive guy. I realize his NBA background would suggest otherwise. He is a defensive guru, man. Look at what he's accomplished. Look at what they've done through these 3 games. I get that, they're not all Power 5 wins and, they're not great. They haven't been great on the stat sheet. Their offense has been ugly. It has. They have played horrific on the offensive end of the floor, and yet they're still winning games. I think they get it figured out on the offensive end. I wouldn't shock me at all to see these guys be north of like 38, 39%. Not a whole lot better, but seeing some marginal improvement. Give me the Hogs, man. Musselman, he just continues to prove people wrong, and I think this is the year. Man, you beat the 1 seed. Come on. You beat the 1 seed. For the first time, you're 0-10 against the 1 seed in the tournament. Look what he just did, right? He's the only team, did I hear that right? They're the only team ever to beat the number 1 team during the regular season and then to beat the 1 seed in the NCAA tournament? I mean, come on. I'm taking the Hogs. I don't know my score yet. I'll give you my prediction in Discord. I think it probably going to be a low to mid 70s kind of game. It could venture into the low 80s, mid 80s. It could. I don't see that happening, but if Arkansas could shoot well, I could see that happening. The question, does Arkansas's defense break down a little bit? A very short turnaround after the Zags. But the other thing you got to realize, Duke just played, I think, one of the better defenses in the tournament, and that was a physical basketball game. The question is for them, can they turn it around and play another physical team like Arkansas, who also loves to play in transition, and they're pretty damn good transition defense. J.D. Notae can turn defense into offense. We're seeing Wade peak. Are we getting NCAA tournament Wade? Like, is this going to be his thing? I'm not saying that it is, but I would love to see that cat go for double digits tonight, or tomorrow night, rather. Would love to see him go for 10, 12, 14 points. It is probably going to take some better, well, without a doubt, it's going to take some better shooting, right? You're going to have to crash the boards. Duke can rebound as good as anybody in the country. They've got some size. They love, like I said, they're forward and they're heavy at the 4 and the 5 spot. But can they play at the pace that the Hogs play at? Can they deal with Arkansas in transition? When Arkansas, if they call up Chris Likes, and maybe Chris Likes gets some quality minutes, Devo Davis, who's probably going to get 20-plus minutes on the floor, like, who peaks? And can they get Duke into foul trouble? We know Arkansas is one of the best in the country at getting you in trouble. And the other troubling stat for me, if I'm Duke, it is that forced turnover ratio. That's the thing I look at, and it's like the Hogs are playing better in the turnover, in that assist-to-turnover ratio. That is huge this time of year. Remember, C.S. Fullerton only turned the ball over 8 times. Michigan State, 7 turnovers. Texas Tech, 8 turnovers. People are not turning the ball over against them, and they're keeping themselves in some of these games, right? Yeah, I think the Hogs, listen, they might end up with double-digit turnovers only because they get a little careless with the ball at times. But try to keep that under about 11 or 12, and you've got a legitimate shot at getting what I guess everyone would call an upset. I wouldn't call an upset. I would call an upset if Duke went over the Hogs at this point. I mean, let's just be real. No, I'm all Hogs. I think they win. I think they get to the Final Four, and then we'll talk about that matchup when it happens. We'll get to that and do what we can. Ty has finally come to his senses, says Shahid Mustafa. Look, man, I don't think anybody faults me for picking the Zags. I realize Hog fans, we all carry a certain bias with us. Sure. I mean, who doesn't? We're all fans, right? I think to me, it was the Zags are just offensively, we hadn't seen anything like that. What I should have taken into heavier consideration was the amount of time that Muss was given to prep for those guys. You don't have that kind of turnaround, right? Or that kind of time to prep for Duke. That's what gives me a little bit of pause. But I think the difference here is that Duke just played a physical bout with the Texas Tech Red Raiders, a really good, grounded defensive team. I don't see Duke getting by that 2 times in a row. I just don't see it. Ty, isn't it crazy the Hogs have not played a complete game in the tourney yet? Defense is consistent, but shooting has not been even up to our season average yet. Yeah, no, it hasn't. And Duke is not an elite defense. Zags are more balanced. Zags are the better team. Now, again, you have to keep into consideration you don't have the kind of time that you had to prep for the Zags, so that changes things. You can't overlook that. Nothing would shock me, the winner or loser in this game, whoever. Nothing will shock me. But I just like the Hogs. It's not just because of the Zags. It's because that a big part of it is The Zags don't force a lot of turnovers. They're not as balanced on defense. And I just have a hard time seeing the Duke Blue Devils get around yet another solid defensive team, and because Arkansas has been so piss poor shooting the ball. And I think, listen, if there's an opportunity for them to get it figured out on the offensive end, maybe it'd be against the Dukes. It's still kind of hard to say, out loud. It's kind of hard to come to that conclusion, but maybe they do, because again, Duke is not an elite defensive team. The Zags were better, I think, but you've got a real short turnaround here. Can you consider the coaching in this game? What do you mean, Dwight? I mean, absolutely. You're talking about Must versus Coach K. I mean, that's incredible. Duke has fewer weapons than the Zags. They should be easier to prepare for. Yeah, they don't have what the Zags had on offense, without a doubt. I don't know what you mean about the coaching. What are you suggesting, Dwight? Fill me in before I sign off here. Hogs are due for a good offensive game. They've played piss poor on the offensive end of the floor, and yet here we are. And this will be probably the second best defense you've played in this tournament so far. Who's the better coach? Well, I mean, clearly you have to give Coach K his credit. I mean, without a doubt, career-wise, yeah, Coach K, I mean, there's just too much there. His history, everything that guy's accomplished. But the level that these two guys, or that Muss is coaching at, it's insane. If they do get it figured out on offense against Duke, I think it's possible. Listen, again, Duke can play with some size. We know what they can do. We know what they're capable of doing on defense. But if you can get it figured out and play like you have on defense, at least since New Mexico State and then on, right? Vermont wasn't your best defensive performance, but from New Mexico State on, and continue to play that level of defense and get it figured out on the offensive end, you're not losing a game. You're winning the national championship. And I think that's in the cards even now for the way they're playing, simply because of their defense. But they got to get past a really tough team being coached by a guy that it's his last season. He's retiring. They're going to play for their coach. Going to have emotions in this game. You got the history between Arkansas and Duke going all the way back to the 94. Those of you who know, you got some history there. There's going to be some emotions in this game. Who plays harder for their coach? That's something else we got to consider, right? Coach K is a legend, all due respect, but Hog's going to remind him of how it felt in 94. I love that out of you, Greg. That's a great comment right there. The best defense wins it all, and Arkansas has proved they're the best so far. Yeah, Coach K, legend. Coaching legend, right? But at the level that Muss is coaching at, I think that's a good argument. Like, who's coaching at a higher level right now? I think one could argue pretty strongly that Musselman's coaching at a little bit higher level. I don't think there's a doubt, right? Well, maybe there's some doubts, because both these teams are both in the Elite Eight, right? No matter what happens, one hell of a season for both these teams, without a shred of doubt. Coach K is arguably the greatest coach of all time. Either him or Coach Wooden. Don't forget about Tark. UNLV, Tony. Don't forget about Tark. K knows how to work the refs. There will be, oh my God. By the way, get ready for oh my God. It's going to be all about Coach K. So be prepared for that. Be prepared. You thought the Gonzaga, the blah, 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 Gonzaga this, Gonzaga that was bad? Wait till this game. Oh, my God. It's just going to be all about Coach K, so be prepared for that. All right, Woo Pig, thanks for the super chats. I had someone dropped a PayPal on me this morning. I wanted to give them a shout-out. Where are you at? Susie Schwartz, who's donated before to the show. Thank you so much. Holy cow. I appreciate that. You guys are killing it. Patreon supporters, Discord folks, of course, direct service overhead. I'm able to do all this because of you guys, so I appreciate each and every one of you. All right? We will do another Discord pregame show tomorrow. Stand by for the time. For those of you in Discord, we will do a pregame show there. King of Kampala, easy win. Let's go. I hope you're right. But I'll see you guys in the pregame show. If not, I'll see you in the postgame show. And I hope we're celebrating yet another chef's kiss moment, right? Another wild post-game show like what we had last night. That was a lot of fun. Woo Pig! Go Hogs! Let's whoop some Duke Blue Devil ass. Go Hogs.